Today we are back with another community member gameplay review where we break down gameplay that probably looks a little bit more similar to yours. Now, as you saw in the title, today we are going to be focusing on solos, and we've got a good gameplay here that was submitted by JPuck. Real quick before we jump in, if you want the chance to have your gameplay reviewed, make sure you check the pinned comment down below. I have a link to join my Discord there, as well as instructions on how to submit your gameplay. Now, jumping right in, we're going to get off to a little bit of a hot start here because we see somebody else flying in. Solos, I do love landing at gas station. You're going to see just how much cash is in here, but we kind of have to worry about that guy first. We don't want to loot too much here until we know that that guy is taken care of. So he's going to find the Castall 545 here, which is a really good gun for early game. It's got this hybrid scope, and that scope that he's using right now is really good for close quarters engagements. Obviously, it's not as good as a Fennec or a Lockman or something, but it's definitely viable to get a kill, which is what we need to focus on. Now, I would love to see him jump at this guy a little bit quicker. Yes, that guy has high ground, but notice that he's waiting for this guy to push. He's letting this guy push him as opposed to us pushing based on the information that we have. We're going to focus on that a lot today, and I do want to get into why I love Warzone 2 solos so much. But for now, he's going to go ahead. He's going to see what else he has around him. He has the suppression mine that he can throw down here. Yep, he's going to throw that down, kind of using anything he can to get the advantage. We see the drill charge. He's going to drill charge up top, and now he's going to get a quick tag. So that guy doesn't have a 3-plate, right? So we have a little bit of an advantage, and finally he's able to get to this spot. He's able to hit shots. Now let's go ahead and jump into why I love solos so much now that he got that kill. Real quick, by the way, as I mentioned, gas stations are great. He does have the safe cracker, which he can do. But why I love solos so much? You know, in duos, trios, and quads, that is very difficult, or more difficult, because you are worrying about other enemies, right? You've got to perfectly change your pace. There's a lack of outplay potential. You've got to worry about their spacing and where their positioning is. In solos, it's very simple. Can you get information about where somebody is, and can you execute it? Can you hit on more shots? Yes, we deal with people camping in corners, which we'll talk about, but at the end of the day, it's like, if you have information about somebody, where somebody is, go ahead and execute on that guy as quick as possible and keep moving. You know, high kill games in solos, we're looking at 15, 20 plus kills, and of course, we do want to figure out how to clutch the dub, which kind of is the toughest part. Now, early game cash flow, really good right here. He's able to grab a gun, so he grabs his RPK, and I would be pretty tempted to buy a UAV here. Just see what's going on around him. Now, I do want to commend him here. This is something that a lot of you struggle with, especially in solos, but even in every game mode, which is doing the stronghold building. Right here, this is not going to be an actual stronghold, but what this does allow him to do, and this is something they are going to be changing a little bit in Warzone 2, or in Season 2, which is the loadout drop markers and the price of those, but he's going to be able to walk out of here with a ton of cash. He's going to be able to buy a loadout, at which point he can get Bird's Eye and start pushing. But let's say Bird's Eye gets nerfed, he's still going to have plenty of UAVs to start to really act on information, and that starts that snowball effect, right? Then we start looking at bounty contracts potentially. We're able to buy multiple UAVs, and then we can kind of keep it rolling from here. So while he's looting up real quick, if you are looking to get better at Warzone 2, make sure you are subscribed down below. My whole goal is just to help you improve as a player. Get more kills, die a little less, win more, whether it's in solos, anything through quads. My whole goal is just to help you improve. So if you are looking to get better, make sure you are subscribed down below. $34,000 right here. $34,000. I mean, when we talk about cash flow, guys, this is really what we want to start looking at. We want this insane amount of cash flow, because even if he were to die right here, he would have enough to fly in on a buy station and throw another loadout, let alone buy his guns. He wouldn't be able to buy a whole entire another loadout if he died right here. So good job. He knows that there's two people. He's kind of taking a, he's taking a look at what is going on around him. He's able to grab the RPK. What's he rocking secondary wise? The Castall. Okay, so he's rocking both. He's going to have to pay attention to his AR. When it comes to these three people, I would be a little bit more tempted to push this way because there's two of them. He's going to end up pushing this guy. Nothing wrong with that, right? It is simply getting information and then acting on it. Biggest thing with solos, guys, pause. I need to pause right here. Biggest thing with solos, hear me out, because I've been talking to people about this more. If you are not sure where to go, right, and you're just quote-unquote wandering, you should not be pushing into buildings. You should not be looting unless you need cash. You need to be in a vehicle. That is where a lot of you get caught. Either wandering out in the open, which we're going to see him take advantage of throughout this gameplay, or you're pushing into buildings that you don't know if anybody's in there. So just don't push in there. Grab a car, drive around to see if you can get a bounty contract, see if you can get to a UAV at a buy station, see if you can see people fighting, see if you can hear people. Do something something that allows you to find people. Right here, he's just going to execute, right? Information, execution. He hits shots perfectly there. RPK is very easy gun to use. Today is January 26th. I think we got 2 more weeks of the RPK. So if you are watching this after the fact, there's a chance that meta has changed. But right there, he grabs another UAV. So, and he has bird's eye. So I think right now, what does he have? He's got a precision. He's got 3 precisions and a UAV. I'd probably drop one of those precisions. You don't really need that many in solos. But the most important thing is he has another UAV. And also, he's got bird's eye right now, which means anytime an enemy pops a UAV, he's going to get one as well and get information about where people are. Now, not 100% sure exactly where to go, so let's go ahead and start driving. Let's go ahead and start driving around. He knows that there's people somewhere over this direction. We just got to figure out exactly where they are, and then an enemy's going to pop a UAV right here. Now, what do we've got? We've got 1 backside this way that has to rotate in. Circle is closing. We've got 2 over here in Said City, but they have to get to about this direction. Now, I would say he kills his pace here, right? This is where a lot of you do struggle, is this pace of play. So he's going to go take ladder. He wants to challenge this guy over to his right, but he's just not in a good position. So while I say that positioning doesn't matter as much in solos, it still does matter a little bit. Instead of trying to jump up this way and kind of play up top, stay in your car, go push to like this building over here or maybe the top of the hill, and then from there, you can challenge that guy a little bit more head on. You know, it doesn't matter as much in solos because you can get away with bad positioning through your execution. Positioning does make it easier, but we want to push over that way. Now, we saw this guy over to his right in the car, and his shots are really good. I mean, J-Puck is one where, you know, he's definitely going to drop a 20 here soon. His execution is really good, and we just need to speed him up a little bit. We need to increase his pace of play. The other thing that I do want to mention right at this moment is you got 78 other people alive. You've got probably 4 or 5 people over this way. It's kind of a hot area right now, so he's in an okay spot. If you only have 1 other person, good shots right here, he's able to get that kill. That is kill number 3. You know, we're going to look at 3 to 4 kills in this first circle, which is definitely a good start. Now, what's the mistake that he makes right here, right? I want you to look at this scenario and say, what mistake did he make? The answer is he didn't take the car. Guys, always prioritize vehicles in solos because at the end of the day, with a vehicle, it allows you to rotate safer, it allows you to rotate quicker, and most importantly, when you're challenging an enemy, the car allows you to rotate with enough cover to put yourself in the best position you can possibly put yourself in. Now, right here, he's in a really good spot. He's got high ground, he's got cover. I mean, that guy just gets absolutely fried, and he knows that there's one more to the right based on bird's eye. So there's kill number 4. He sees this guy rotating up right here. There is kill number 5. So off to a really good start this game. 5 kills in the first circle. We've got to keep in mind that end game, kind of 4th circle and on, we can pick up 6 to 8 kills, if not more. So we're in a really good spot here to start to put together a good game. What's the issue, though? The issue right now is he doesn't have any information, and he doesn't have a car to rotate. So he is just wandering right now, hoping that an enemy pops a UAV. I don't know if he still has that UAV in his backpack. If he does, he absolutely should have bought that. But this is where the one thing I would tell you to always ask yourself is, what's next? Like, if I'm wandering, what am I supposed to be doing? Who am I pushing right now, and what am I doing to get information? If I'm not doing anything, get in a car and just start driving. Drive to a hot area like Hydroelectric or, you know, Al Mazrah City or Village or Pass or somewhere that the circle is pulling towards and figure out where you can find people. So right here, he's going to go ahead. 500 IQ play by J-Puck right here, guys. What is he doing? He's not calling the precision in right now. I mean, if he sees somebody, he might. What he's actually doing is he's getting a closer look at everything. Notice how zoomed in it is. You can't really compare it to the RPK at this moment, but that is significantly zoomed in, allows him to see a little bit more. This is something you can start to use when you're even more at range than this, is use your precision airstrike to kind of see what is going on. Is somebody sitting on a rooftop? Are they not sitting on a rooftop? And he just can't quite get anybody. Now somebody's going to pop UAV, and he notices that there's 2 people around. The one downside of bird's eye is you don't get the levels, right? So you kind of have to assume that somebody's on your level and clear it one step at a time. Now, right here, he's got one over to, he's going to see one over to his left here after he checks it in a second, but he's trying to balance the 2. He catches that guy out in the open. There's kill number 6. Still one over here, though. One thing I want you to work on, especially in solos, is retaining as much information as possible. Why? Because that allows you to immediately make that next decision. A lot of you get 4 4 or 5 pieces of information, you act on one, and then you forget all of that other information that you have. Now, once again, he gets a UAV. He pings it, does a great job so we can look exactly where this guy is. And I actually like this play that he makes. The one thing that we do take in mind, though, is as we look at this UAV, it doesn't ping again. Look how many people are on the other side. So all of a sudden, you know, when I look at this guy's high ground. He's got a good spot. You know, you do have a precision, so if he has a self-revive, you can thirst. But he's in a pretty good position. I'm going to work my way over towards this side. This is where we want to be. I mean, this is 4 or 5 kills right here. And if we can pick up a few of those, all of a sudden we're already at that 9-10 kill mark, even before second circle starts closing. Still trying to see what he can find. He notices this guy move down a little bit. Good shots right there. Just can't quite get that down, but really good shots with that RPK. This guy's trying to put a move on him. Yep, be careful there because he still could peek. He's going to precision to buy himself time. That's what the precision does. This guy can't really push, or he gets the kill. One of those two. He slides left. He still sees him, but just can't quite get it. Okay, he's going to disengage, which I like this disengage right here. I do like the disengage to go push this way where we have more enemies spread out. So if you caught a quick glimpse, guys, this is how quick information happens, right? Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. So we got one on the car, we've got one over to the right, and we've got one over to the ammo crate. That's what should be going through your mind as you're seeing this UAV up, is we've got those 3 enemies. So let's go quickly take care of this one. Now, I'm going to preemptively tell you that he takes way too long to engage this guy. I'm okay with that, playing a little bit patient. That's where patience does matter in this game. Right here, he's going to try to go challenge. He breaks that guy. Go keep the pressure on. You're going to see him. Okay, he's looting, right? Well, oh, you know, that's just something that a lot of you do. You immediately fall back to a building and go, I'm going to loot up real quick. There's loot around here. I'm going to focus on that. But instead, go keep the pressure on. You know he's in here. You've got to be careful, but go keep the pressure on while you can and work your way top down. Whenever we're going through a building, guys, top down is always the easier way to push. Once again, going to loot, still looking for an angle, trying to find an angle too hard. If this was duos, trios, and quads, I like this. But in solos, we want to play more aggressive. We have the information. Not only do we have the information, I know exactly which way he's looking. So based on the arrow of the UAV, do we get the arrow? Based on this arrow right here, I know he's probably looking at this window right here. So you just have to anticipate that. You've just got to be ready, and then yeah, it's about just hitting shots. Still playing very, very patient. And this is the way I think a lot of you play. A lot of you get a little bit nervous to push, and it slows your pace down. It really slows your pace down. Buildings are harder to push in Warzone 2 versus Warzone 1, but that doesn't mean we can't. Notice that he's not looking right now. And he's kind of caught between 3 people, and he doesn't know who to push. Just push one of them. I don't care if you disengage this guy and go for this one over here. This guy's in a small little shack that should be a pretty easy kill. Disengage this one, circle back to this one later, go push this guy. Go push somebody and keep control of the fight while you have the information. So he's going to start to, and notice he's indecisive right here. He's a little bit stuck. Then now there's people under him. And now he just got caught in a pretty tough spot because now there's people under him. There's one to his right. There's one to his left. And he lost that ability to push, to push aggressively and keep control of these fights because now he does have to worry about that third-party dynamic a little bit. Okay, go push in. 2 in there now. Work your way top down, and you should be okay. 1 in there. Now we're really pushing. Now let's go third party this and take advantage of the fact that one of them is broken, right? So somebody, not even broken, but some of them, one of them probably took damage there. So when we hear that fighting, if that's an opportunity to push in, let's go take it and know that we can win that gunfight simply because that guy does not have as much health as us. So right there, a little bit of a tough situation, but I think this is one that a lot of you really push into and a lot of you come across is there's 3 people around me and I don't know what to do. I don't really know who to push. If you're not comfortable pushing a multi-level building, focus on the guy that's the easier kill, the one that's on the 1-level shack, and all you have to do is clear it. If you are comfortable, just push in, anticipate well, play from the top down, and go from there. Anyway, we got 6 kills. He is going to drop a high kill game here, so he's still going to pick up some momentum. We're just in a little bit of a tough spot. Also notice, what do you notice right here? There's one thing you should be picking up on. One thing that I keep going back to besides information is this right here. Notice the vehicle. So this is one where I would try to grab that. I don't know if it's dead. I don't know if it's in the water. He gets a kill right there. This is where high ground matters. And by the way, he has no ammo, so that's also tough as well. That is also tough as well. So right here, he should grab the car. It looks like it is still... Oh, good shots right there. And this is one where, guys, J-Puck has the ability to execute really well. We've seen that he has good execution. He's just got to have a little bit more confidence based on that information that he has. If you are new here, this is something that I've talked about a lot extensively throughout Rebirth, is confidence equals information plus execution, right? To have confidence in gunfights, if I tell you where somebody is, do you have, I hate to use it again, but do you have confidence in your ability to hit those shots and execute? If you're missing either one of those components, this game becomes a whole lot tougher. Information plus execution. If you take away information but have the ability to execute, well, now you're wandering, hoping that you don't get shot first and that you run into somebody. If you have information but don't feel like you're that confident in your ability to execute, well, then it gets a little bit tougher, but execution is fixable. That's just practicing your aim and movement a little bit, not even movement, just your aim, and starting to be able to hit shots better. So that's where I look at confidence equals information plus execution. When you have those two things, that's how we start piecing together these 20 bombs in these high kill wins. Now, right here, notice he gets distracted once again by looting. He doesn't need anything, right? He's good to go. Yes, he could use a little bit more ammo, but go kill somebody and take their ammo. They're going to have AR, and you know that there's multiple people over this way. The other thing that I will say is we're looking at this buy station. I definitely want to try to get to this buy. I know there's people over here, but we got to spend some of this cash. You know, this cash, of course, allows him to fly back in with a ton of money. He still probably would have enough to buy a loadout if he died, but we do want to try to get back to pushing based on information. And the enemy UAVs with Bird's Eye are great, but you don't really get the full extent of the UAV. You only get a little part of it. Let's see what he does right here. Good shots. I mean, guys, you see his execution. It's just a matter of him putting himself in more gunfights. Yep, go challenge. This guy's low health. You know you got the, you got the advantage. That guy can't win that gunfight. Unless you really mess up your execution, he's not winning that gunfight. Now, you still have two more on the backside somewhere over this way. Did you catch that? I'm going to ask you, did you catch that there's two people over here? And I'll tell you right when I did, is as he's pushing up, boom, we hear UAV right about now. Yep, so I see the pings, so there is where I catch two more over here, and then I go back to focusing on getting the full kill. That's where we talk about retaining information. This guy, I'm going to hear the self-revive go off. I'm going to have tracker to know exactly where he is. Now we go focus on the two enemies now over to his left in that little building, or we can go buy a UAV. I'm okay buying a UAV as well here. Does he hear? Oh, he does hear another one. He got audio. Yep, I think he got some audio there. Yeah, okay. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this because I think that player's probably ghosted, but he did have the advantage there because that guy can't be on the roof, so he either had to be below him or on the second floor. But I'm okay with the disengage there and acting based on information as opposed to ghost. 9 kills, still a very healthy lobby. Good shots. He got the down. Now this is one where notice he's constantly retreating. Right? So we never checked never checked buy stations for UAVs. That would have been a quick check. You know there's people around here, but that would have been a pretty quick check. Notice he's constantly kind of retreating in a sense and second-guessing himself. That's one where, again, we go back to solos. You know, solos is very just, you have the information, go work to get that thirst. And look, there is a little bit of outplay ability with Waters. He doesn't have smokes, which are great for solos because it allows you to get out of a situation, and there's no crossfire ability in solos because there's not another teammate. Now he's going to go in and push up top here. Let's see how he approaches this fight because he knows there's people to his right now. By the way, still 4 people back where he was. Still 4 people and plenty of time to rotate. Good shots. Tags up a little bit. Yep, precision down. So precision down forces this guy to make a move. Forces him to do something. He's able to get that kill. He didn't get that thirst, though. Or he didn't get that kill. He only got the thirst of somebody else's. Good that guy's a bullet, so go put the pressure on, right? That guy has to plate up. So go put the pressure on. Find a jump spot to get to the second floor. And then from there, we can challenge because you're going to see exactly how this plays out. I know how this part plays out. So watch what ends up happening to him. Good job holding, right? He's in between. Here's what I will say. I'm kind of going back and forth a lot here. Here's what I think one thing he struggles with. Because he's rotating on foot, he is worried about wandering. So instead, he disengages from scenarios to kind of push ahead forward a little bit more. Whereas if you have a car, you don't have to worry about that as much. You can play a little bit more on the edge of zone because you have the cover and, you know, you're able to rotate a lot quicker and we can get into zone. Good shots right there. Down thirsted. Still one to your right. Yep, he's over here. That's what happens, right? Because he didn't keep the pressure on, now all of a sudden that guy's able to replate, re-engage, and J-Puck was literally a bullet there. That's the TTK. Now this guy precisions. J-Puck has the advantage of being between this guy and zone, so he can hold this guy. And by the way, he almost just retreated all the way back. You know where I'm retreating to? Right here on this wall. You can't see it. Right here on this wall. Over to the right here. Why? You've got high ground, you've got cover, and you're right between this guy and where he has to get to. So let's go to play this wall. We still got information over to the right with the smoke, so somebody's rotating out in the open. This guy's somewhere over this way. You've got two over to the right. You got a bunch over to the left. You got people. That's probably Black Sight back behind him. Still got, yep, good shots right there. I'm okay with taking those pop shots. Kind of scaring that guy a little bit. This guy ends up going down. So he's finally able to get that kill, but you can see where his pace slows down, right? You can really see in this game where he has information, but he's not really acting on it. He's not putting himself in the best position possible to then execute, which he can execute perfectly fine. Now, right here, he's got a long rotation. He's got car to his left, so just be a little bit careful. Doesn't really... Oh, he needs AR ammo. He does need AR. And that's just the one downside of the double AR with the cast-off and the RPK. Although I love rocking it as well. Did he hear something? I thought he heard a beep or something. Now, what I see is this buy station. Probably a little bit risky. We've got to rotate. We've got cars everywhere as well that we should be taking. And not only do cars get you from point A to point B now, it can also get you from point A to point B once you get that next circle rotation. If you have to rotate, now you can at least do it a little bit safer than having to run out in the open. Notice right here, this is where he's very susceptible. This is where a lot of you are very susceptible. This is where we've seen him execute multiple times on somebody that's just floating out in the open and running out in the open. There's not a whole lot that guy can do. Now, we're looking at a pretty interesting circle here. He does a good job. I like this ping a lot. I like him committing to this building and saying, look, this is probably center zone. Circle is definitely going to pull this way. Let's go ahead and take that building over to the right, kind of what he pinged, and get that high ground and get that advantage. Now he's going to keep working through. Got to be careful, people in here. This is the one time when we're talking about Endgame where, yeah, like it is a little bit tougher because you can run into a camper that's sitting in a corner. But what I would say here is he wants to be in this building right here. If there's a car, he just drives straight over, he gets out, and then he only has to clear one building. Now, because he's on foot, he's kind of got to clear one building at a time here and be really careful. There's probably people in here. There's 100%. This is where, though, we don't have information about it, and these are the situations that I want you to really try to avoid. These, you know, it's not even a 50-50. It's a full guessing game, right? You're just guessing and hoping that you happen to see somebody or happen to not see somebody, and if you do see them, you're just hoping you get the first shot off and win the fight, because that's a lot of what this game comes down to. So he's going to go back in the water. I love using the water dynamic here. Don't rotate on foot. This at least gives you a little bit of a chance with cover. This at least gives you a little bit of a chance. We get the next circle pull. So I really like this building that he pinged now. I really like this building. Go ahead and get over there. Yep. We got to clear it. We've got to be careful. Give me a dolphin dive. Can we get a dolphin dive to tack sprint and make us a little bit of a harder target to hit? Good job shutting the door so you hear it if somebody has to push in. Let's go clear it. Yep. Clear it slow. One corner at a time. Let's see how he centers this. Boom. Crosshairs pretty close. A little bit lower because if there's a guy right here, this is where his head is, right? So he's probably a little bit off. He probably loses his gunfight unless that guy misses shots. But he's at least thinking about it. He's at least thinking about centering. Good job. Still centering a little bit low. Could be a little bit higher. Now, what mistake does he make right here? As we're watching this next 30 seconds play out, what mistake does he make? And I want you to think about this, and I'm gonna hold on to the answer to see what you guys are thinking about. You know, he's gonna keep looking. He's doing a good job right here, but this is where we talk about endgame. Fourth circle and on is endgame. That's when we focus on clutching up the win. Fourth circle, meaning like fourth circle starts closing, you know, Gouge is starting to close. It's a little bit harder to fly back in on loadouts and stuff. He's got precision. Good job right there. Notice his backpack is not full, which is not really a good situation to be in endgame. You know, we do want to try to make sure that backpack is full for endgame. Hit shots right there. Boom, he gets the kill. 12 kills, still 10 other people left. Now, what is the mistake? The mistake is when we talk about endgame, guys, cover first, then power position. Well, he's got cover in this building. He's got cover in this building, this building, this building. He's got cover in a lot of different areas right here. But then we start thinking about power position. I would be on the rooftop right here. I would 100% push up to the roof. Still 10 other people. Yep, people over back behind us somewhere. I would 100% get up to the rooftop and see what happens next. Now, once we see what happens here, we've got to be a little bit careful with our decision. I look at this, and this is where we go back to the two questions. Where's your cover? Where's your power position? Look at the mini-map right now. What are you thinking about? First things first is cover. There's really only two places with cover right here. We've got this building and we got this out in the open, but that is still a pretty tough spot to be in because your back is susceptible and you don't have great angles. This might be in, although it doesn't really look like it's in. So when I look at that, I'm like, I need to get this building, right? This is the building that I need to get to, and I need to get the rooftop if possible. Yes, you can play down. If there's somebody on the rooftop, you can play down low and wait another circle. But he pushes over this way, and notice he can't really get anywhere, right? He's definitely in a moment now where he's like, I don't really know where to go. Because there's probably people in the building to the right. There's still 9 other people left, guys. One of them's in the car, right? So we know one of them's in the car. We heard shooting back this way, so we know one guy's back here. So we're down to 7 other enemies. There's got to be one in this building, so that's 6. There's got to be one in this building, that's 5. There's got to be one in this building, that's 4. So there could be 2 people in some of these buildings, but you got to assume that there's a person in every single building. Just by the way people play. I mean, we know that people love to just sit in buildings in this game and they play scared. So yeah, well, there's one guy rotating. So he goes down. He also got a knock somewhere. I'd still be worried about somebody in this building. 100%. But notice he's already lost the ability to push over to the building to his left. He can't push over there anymore. And what ends up happening is he's going to get stuck here. He gets a full kill. There's number 14. 6 other people. How do you get an empty gas mask? He's got to wait for that truck to go by. That truck is, by the way, that truck's a great example of exactly what I mean. It's annoying that people play cars until, like, the very, very end game. But, like, that guy doesn't have much of a worry right now. That guy's just driving around. And everybody's got to avoid him. He's got 28 bullets left. Takes some shots at that guy. Unfortunately, right here, he ends up hitting good shots, but just unfortunately goes down right there, guys. And that's a 14 kill, 6th place. Just because I don't think he rotated the best way. I think back when he gets to this moment right here, I think back here, he's got to commit to, he's got to probably commit to this building. And by the way, if he is on the rooftop right here, there's a potential that he could just fly over and at least get to like the 3rd floor or the 2nd floor instead of having to wander through that 1st floor. So I hope you found today's video helpful about solos tips. Information, vehicles, execution, and then, of course, once we get to endgame, focus on your cover and your power position. I hope you found today's video helpful. As I always say, let's get better today, and I will see you tomorrow.